Well, there you go. Welcome back again. Well, the last stream we did was like Saturday night, so it's Tuesday. So let's just start discussing what went on in the last couple of days. First of all, I'd like to reach out and apologize for the mistake I made on Saturday night. Like I said, I have to do 30 tasks all by myself to make this work. So, and coupled with the fact that my computers are not as powerful as they used to be. So, anyway, the mistake was that I mislabeled Liz Cheney as being from Wisconsin when she's actually from Wyoming. I knew it was one of those W states out there, but Liz Cheney is actually from Wyoming and not Wisconsin. I apologize to the people of Wyoming. Last thing you want to do is be called or being referred to as somebody from Wisconsin. We all know what's in Wisconsin, right? So let's motor on through the issues today, or find out what's going on today. So the first issue I want to get to is this one. Good old Elon. Elon has been the thorn in the side of most of the liberals, but he's a good businessman. He makes sense. Even when some people don't make sense, he makes sense. In his attempt to acquire Twitter, we all know how that went down a couple of months ago. Yesterday, on Monday, a judge ordered Twitter to give Elon the number of fake accounts and bots that are running on the system. Wasn't that what he wanted in the first place? So we go through all this stuff and all this bad PR for Twitter, and Elon is just smiling. All I wanted to know was how many fake accounts and bots were there on the network. I'd have bought yous a month ago, or maybe more. Huh. So now we've got to sit through with a judge sorting through probably piles of information that Twitter's going to give them to determine what the right number is, because it's going to be marred and going to be filled with, piles and piles and piles of woke liberal accounts that God only knows who or what's on the end of. But, that being said, I seriously hope that he gets to the bottom of it. And, I think the offer was $54 billion or something. No, it was $54 a share of $45 billion. But I don't think Twitter's worth that. It's probably worth $30 billion, I guess. $28 billion, $30 billion. Just because we all know that, there's not as many people on Twitter as they claim. Just saying. And that's the Twitter buzz tonight. So, we'll see what Elon's going to do. And, wish him all the best. He's a good guy. Anyway, moving on up. Let's see what else is on the agenda today. Okay, computer, next one. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is a fun dude. Alec Baldwin. What are we gonna do with this goofy? Well, he kills somebody on the set of the movie Rust, and then he claims that he didn't pull the trigger. He started blaming everybody else but himself. Well, hold on a second. You're the producer of a film. You're the ultimate, dude when it comes to the buck stops here. I worked on a few film productions in my life. The movie America with Chris Christopherson and the Captain Power TV series and all that fun stuff over the years. A couple of music videos. Rick Emmett's Never Say Never, and the producer is the liability. He is the be all and end all. When he turned around and said he didn't fire the trigger, well, the last thing I heard on this thing was the fact that he had an old 1907 Colt. Well, the 1907 Colt, you got to pull the trigger to fire it. So yesterday the FBI came out and said yes, the trigger had to be pulled to fire this thing. Now, if he didn't fire the trigger, was it his alter ego? Is there another Alec Baldwin inside that Alec Baldwin? Is he a schizophrenic? Is there something that he's not telling us, or is there something his medical people are not telling us, that he's, not the Alec Baldwin that we see, but the other alter ego Alec Baldwin that pulled the trigger? Who knows? And the other question is, will the movie Rust ever get finished? Probably not, huh? That movie's probably shelved. Well, it would have been interesting. So anyway, that's what's going on in Alex Baldwin's life. Yeah, the FBI is saying now that the trigger had to be pulled. He's saying he didn't pull the trigger. If the trigger had to be pulled and he pulled the trigger and his alter ego did it, so who are they going to charge with, criminal negligence causing death or third degree manslaughter? Is it going to be him or his schizophrenic better half? Because there has to be a better half in there somewhere than what we're watching than we watch from Alec Baldwin on screen. Anyway, just the saddest thing about it is someone died. If it wasn't for that, anybody else's career in Hollywood, this would have done him in. He's a liberal. He's a liberal elite. He'll survive, like all the liberal elites survive. Anyway, moving on to the next topic today. What do we got? The next topic. Computer. Next topic. Oh yes, okay. This is a good one we want to talk about. We talked about this briefly the other night about how the drug cartels have operational control of the southern border in the U.S. Well, now it's gotten a little further that they now have operational control. Well, they always have, I guess, had operational control of the city of Tijuana in Mexico, just south of San Diego. But the U.S. Embassy in Tijuana has now just put out an alert yesterday that they want everybody to shelter in place because of the roadblocks and the violence and the fires in the streets. And really it's gotten with these cartels, the Sinaloa cartels, and this has gotten out of control. This really has to be shut down by one way or another. It really does. We can't go on as a society trying to sustain peace when you have a criminal organization dumping tons and tons of drugs into the country, dumping tons and tons and tons of criminals into the country, and then basically using the U.S. southern border, as a fundamental line in the sand where they can, where they can blackmail people and make money on it. I don't know where people get off saying that it's an open border policy. Well, yes, we all know it's an open border policy. It can be an open border policy. If you're a Democrat, they're about to surpass the 1.8 million mark in the next week, I think it is, of people coming across the border, and those are the people that those are the people that the Border Patrol and their catches. What about the people who got away? These are the people these are the bad dudes, the MS-13s. These are the people that the cartels are dumping over the border that are not getting caught. And they're coming over the border with fentanyl and cocaine and heroin and all the bad stuff. So it's got to be, someone's got to put a stop to this. it scares me to think that if Donald Trump don't come back and fix this in 2024, the U.S., the U.S., the country of the United States is in for a really, really tough ride. And, it's a tough ride that I don't think the founding fathers would have predicted. I think if they had seen this, if this was in their parlay of vision, they would have factored this into the Constitution for sure, like banning Democratic liberals. Anyway, that's the scary part on the southern border, is that, criminals, the cartels are basically now making U.S. embassy workers in Tijuana shelter in place. Scary. Moving on. Computer, what do we got up next? Oh, yeah, okay, there you go. There's the brainiac in the short bus class. Mr. Biden, what are we doing with you? Oh, my God. Today, he cut his vacation short to sign the Inflation Reduction Act. Listen to what I'm saying. He cut his vacation short to dump more money into the U.S. economy. I don't know if you have to get through Economics 101 in high school to understand the fact that you dump more money into the economy, inflation goes up. You have more money chasing less products, less goods. That's why we have inflation in the first place. And he's calling this bill, this what, $700 billion bill that he signed today as inflation reduction? Has anybody read this bill? I remember I was listening to a couple of congressmen, liberal Congress people the other day saying, "Oh yeah, let's just pass the bill and then we'll read it and sort through it after it's passed." Well, you're not supposed to do that to bills because, poor old Bill is over there going, "Where's Ted?" Yeah, no, we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to read and understand the bills, debate the bills before they're either passed in the House or the Senate. Well, that's the last time I checked anything along that roads anyway. That's the way it's supposed to be. Coupled with the fact that this bill has $80 billion for new IRS workers. Well, I don't know if you know anything about IRS workers, IRS auditors, but they ain't. He said it's workers to go after big business that don't pay their fair share in taxes. Really. If you go, and at the beginning of the show, we had a picture of this guy, Elon Musk. If you go and send an audit notice to Elon Musk, he's got 70,000 lawyers going to tie you up in court till Hunter Biden's kids run for president. Really? Why do you think Donald Trump didn't show his taxes for the last 7 or 8 years when he ran for president? Because he was under an audit. Well, if you are rich and you have money, you have lawyers to tie this up in court, tie up an audit in court for years, nitpicking over whether or not you got a dollar. I heard a story today about a farmer out in the Midwest, I don't know, Ohio or Idaho or somewhere out there, that he got a notice come in the mail from the IRS that he was being audited. Now, his expenses were a little high in the last year because he had to basically spend $7,500 to rebuild the engine in his John Deere. Well, he couldn't afford to buy a new John Deere because of pandemic and everything else. So he had to rebuild one, but the expenses were a little high, so he got it audited. So after 6 months of the IRS flying in from Denver every day and sitting at his kitchen table, I think it was, 3 weeks or something? He was at a kitchen table for 3 weeks. Every day he was flying in from Denver to audit this. And so they worked it out that once they went back, I think over 3 or 5 years, the IRS basically came up and basically fined him $750 after coming in from Denver every day for, I think it was 3 weeks or something like that, sitting at his kitchen table, going over his shoebox full of receipts, something to do with not allowing the $750 came from the deduction that he wasn't allowed to use his farm pickup truck to drive his kids to school. Well, see, that's where these 85,000 IRS workers are going to be used to go after the low and middle income people that can't afford lawyers to tie them up in court for years. The people who will just turn around and say, yes, how much do I have to pay, sort of thing, and pay it. Also, people don't realize that the majority of people who get audited in the U.S., and I will say this, I heard this as a number, I don't know, I haven't verified it, but they're low-income people in the southern states. Just like they did under the Tea Party movement. They targeted conservative people. So you can almost better believe it that the people that are going to be targeted under this new IRS Biden gift horse will be low and middle income people that can't afford attorneys, and that would be more than willing to pay automatically if it's just a small, say $1,000 fine. Just pay it and make it go away, instead of paying an attorney to tie it up. See, this is what they're after. They're after small and medium-sized people to be suppressed in society. They want these people to understand that they are the governance. And they own you. They own you. And the more they can force their will on you to make you believe that you're owned, the less fighting they'll have to do with you to control you. Was it Dan Bongino? I don't know. Or there was a Fox News contributor the other day, was on Fox News, and he said when he did an audit of the IRS has something crazy. Now, don't get me. I don't know if I remember this number correct or not. Now this is the time in my life when I wish I had a producer in my ear giving me the numbers, but I don't. And I think he said that the IRS has in its inventory 500 million rounds of ammunition. Why would the IRS have or need 500 million rounds of ammunition? I don't think the U.S. Marine Corps has 500 million rounds of ammunition. It's just crazy. Just plain crazy. Anyway, those are my thoughts for today. This is our YouTube channel. I'll also be sending this across my Facebook channel. The links are in the description. If you want to donate a few dollars, we've got Patron. We've got PayPal and Patron and or Patron. Is it Patron? 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 I don't know. It looks the same as the tequila. Or, in Canada, you can email us. We've got the email address there if you want to send us some donations. It'd be great so we can upgrade the computers here and maybe even get a line producer in here so he can update me with the numbers. anyway, I want to thank you for listening, and and I'm looking forward to doing great things here. Anyway, just wanted to sign off and say thanks, and see you soon.